For most of the last century, a prevailing theory within the field of nutrition was that by eating acid-forming foods, such as meat, we were in essence at risk of peeing our bones down the toilet. And no wonder. Experiments dating back to 1920 showed over and over that if you add meat to the diet, you get a big spike in the amount of calcium being lost in the urine. And so this made total sense. We had known since 1912 that meat was acid-forming within the body, and how do you buffer acid? What are in antacid pills like Tums? Calcium. Meat and eggs have a lot of sulfur-containing amino acids, 2 to 5 times more than grains and beans, that are metabolized into sulfuric acid, which the body buffers with calcium. That's why the antacids like Tums are made out of calcium. Calcium can buffer acid. And where is calcium stored in the body? The skeleton. So the thinking was that every time we ate a steak, our body would pull calcium from our bones bit by bit, and over time this could lead to osteoporosis. Based on 26 such studies, every 40 grams of protein we add to our daily diet, we pee out an extra 50 milligrams of calcium. And look, we only have about 2 pounds of calcium in our skeleton, so the loss of 50 a day would mean losing close to 2% of our bone calcium every year. And so by the end of the 20th century, there was little doubt that acid-forming diets would dissolve our bones away. But if you actually look at all the studies done on protein intake and bone health, that's not what you find. So where's the flaw in our logic? Right? Meat leads to acid, which leads to calcium loss, which leads to bone loss, right? Well, it's uncontroversial that protein results in greater calcium excretion, but we've just been assuming it's coming from the bone. I mean, where else could the extra calcium dumped in our urine be coming from but from our bones? This is the study that appeared to solve the mystery. An intrepid group of researchers tried feeding a bunch of volunteers radioactive calcium, and then putting them on a high-protein diet. What happens when you put people on a high-protein diet? The amount of calcium in their urine shoots up. And indeed, that's just what happened. But here's the big question. Was that extra calcium in their urine radioactive or not? And to everyone's surprise, it was radioactive, meaning that the excess calcium in the urine was coming from their diet. Remember, they're feeding them radioactive calcium. So the excess calcium in their urine wasn't coming from their bones, but from what they were eating. What seemed to be happening is that the excess protein consumption boosted calcium absorption from down around 19% up to 26%. So all of a sudden there was all this extra calcium in the blood, so presumably the kidneys are like, whoa, what are we going to do with it all? So they dump it in the urine. 90% of the extra calcium in the urine after eating a steak doesn't appear to be coming from our bones, but from our diet. We're not sure why protein boosts calcium absorption. Maybe the protein increases the solubility of calcium by stimulating stomach acid production. Whatever the reason, yes, more calcium lost, but more calcium gained, such that in the end, most of that extra calcium is accounted for. So in effect, more calcium is lost in the urine stream, but may be compensated by less loss of calcium through the fecal stream. This was repeated with even more extreme diets, an acid-forming 5 burgers a day worth of animal protein diet that limited fruit and vegetables, versus an alkaline diet emphasizing fruits and vegetables. More calcium in the urine on burgers, but significantly greater calcium absorption, such that at the end it was pretty much a wash. Other studies have also since supported this interpretation. Here's an ingenious one. Feed people a high animal protein diet, but with an alkali salt to neutralize the acid. Now, the old thinking would predict that there would be no calcium loss since there was no excess acid to buffer. But no, even though the acid load was neutralized, there was still the excess urinary calcium, consistent with the radioactive isotope study, challenging this long-standing dogma that animal protein consumption results in an acidosis that promotes the excess excretion of calcium. So if our body isn't buffering the acid formed from our diet with our bones, how is it neutralizing the acid? Maybe with our muscles. Alkaline diets may protect our muscle mass, all covered in my next video, entitled Testing Your Diet with Pea and Purple Cabbage. Stay tuned.
All of the problems covered in my videos can be downloaded at accountingworkbook.com. If you go to the website, click the PDF link, you can download a copy of the workbook for yourself. Also on the website, you'll find links to all of my accounting videos, not just the ones I've uploaded to YouTube. I've uploaded over 100 extra videos on this website that you can't find on YouTube. So I do hope you'll check out accountingworkbook.com. All right, let's begin our problem. All right, let's examine problem 8-4A. It has us disposing of a depreciable asset at a gain or a loss. So we're going to buy an asset, we're going to use it for some time, and then we're going to sell it, and the company's either going to make a gain or a loss on the sale. So let's have a look. Bill's Towing purchased a new tow truck on April 1st, 2017 for $110,000 cash. Okay, so let's do this journal entry. Let's do the journal entries kind of as we see them. So the first one, I guess I can leave it up here. April 1st, 2017. So, and this is our answer to part A. I've kind of scanned the question ahead here. April 1st, 2017. We bought a new tow truck for $110,000 cash. So debit, we'll just call it truck. I mean, we could say tow truck, but that's fine. Credit cash, $110,000. Okay, so there's journal entry A in the bed. Company expects to keep the truck for 10 years, after which time it plans to sell it for $20,000. Okay, so let's see, $110,000 is our cost. Our residual value is 20. So our depreciable cost is 90. Again, cost, residual value, depreciable cost is 90, and we're going to depreciate that 90. It's straight line. The company's accountant wishes to use straight line, so we're going to do that over 10 years. So that's at a rate of $9,000 per year. Okay, so we've got our amortization rate or our depreciation rate. Let's see what happens. April 1st. Bill's Towing has a fiscal year end of August 31st. So it says, the second part says, record the required year-end adjustments. So the required year-end adjustment, the adjustment to get us up to August 31st, B, is how many months? Well, April, May, June, July, August. It's 5 months. So we said it was $9,000 in depreciation for a year. We're only interested in 5/12 of a year. $9,000 times 5/12 is $3,750. So we debit depreciation expense and we credit accumulated depreciation on our truck. And this is like the journal entry that we learned way back in chapter 3. Debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated depreciation truck. So at the end of our fiscal year, our truck is worth $110,000 minus $3,750, and that's just our truck minus the accumulated depreciation. That's $106,250. That's our truck's net book value that will show on our fiscal year end financial statements. C. On November 30th, Bill sells the truck. Record depreciation up to the date. So let's see, it's August now. So August, September, October, November. It's 3 months after that. So November 30th, 2017, we have an additional 3 months of amortization. It was $9,000 for a year. We're doing 3/12 of a year. $2,250 in depreciation. So I debit depreciation expense. We always have to depreciate an asset up to the date of the sale, and so that's what we're doing here. $2,250. We credit accumulated depreciation on our truck for $2,250. We're just depreciating this up to the date of the sale. So just out of curiosity, what's my truck's net book value on the date of the sale? Well, again, the truck's cost was $110,000. Oops, didn't want to underline there. The amount of depreciation so far has been $3,750 and $2,250. The amount of the depreciation so far has been $6,000, and that's just $3,750 plus $2,250. That's the accumulated depreciation. So again, truck minus accumulated depreciation equals truck net. Our truck's net book value is $104,000. Okay. So far up to here, nothing really new. I mean, a couple of partial year amortization entries, but nothing crazy new. Now something new. Assume, so part D, I. We'll look at II in a second. Assume Bill sold the truck for $106,000 cash. Record the journal entry for the sale. Okay, so we get paid $106,000 for this truck. Debit cash. 106. We got to get rid of the truck. The truck is on our books for $110,000. There's the truck sitting on our books. We don't have any other debits or credits to truck. We also have to get rid of the accumulated depreciation on the truck, and the total accumulated depreciation is $3,750 and $2,250. It's $6,000. So I get rid of the AD truck for $6,000. Now, I've got to say to myself, well, I'm missing a number here, right? I've got $112,000 in debits, just 106 plus 6. I got $110 in credits. I'm missing a $2,000 credit. That difference, and it should make some sense, we got paid $106,000 cash for a truck that's on our books for $104,000. We got paid more than what we thought the truck was worth. So I'm going to ask you, is this a gain or is this a loss? And the answer is, this is a gain. We got paid more than the truck was worth on the books. Therefore, this is a gain on sale. And that's the account we credit. Credit gain on sale of truck. So that's our journal entry. And it's also a November 30th, 2017 entry for the sale of the truck. Again, we got paid $106 for an asset that we thought was worth $104. The journal entry works. We debit cash, we get rid of the truck and the accumulated depreciation related to the truck, and the difference goes to gain or loss. Let's look at part II of the question. Part 2, I guess, would be a cooler way to say that. We get paid just $85,000. So we have the same truck worth $104, but rather than getting $106 for the $104 asset, we only get $85,000. I think you can all project this is going to be a loss situation. We got paid less than what the truck was worth on our books. November 30th, 2017, debit cash, this time just for $85,000. We got to get rid of the truck, so we credit truck for $110,000. We got to get rid of any accumulated depreciation on the truck, so debit AD truck for $6,000. And then I look at this journal entry and I'm imbalanced again. I have $91,000 in debits. I have $110,000 in credits. I'm off by $19,000 in debits. I debit loss on sale. So I just want to compare the two entries. They're almost identical entries. The difference is the cash and the gain or loss. This one, when I get paid more, it's a gain. So why do I credit gains and debit losses? Well, gains are revenues. When we prepare our financial statements, we're listing all of our revenues and expenses. This would be listed as an other revenue. Other revenues and expenses. This is an other revenue when I have a gain. It's an other expense when I have a loss on sale. So very important concept. One I test every single test when I'm giving exams, and one your prof probably will want you to examine pretty closely and will want you to understand. So again, ABC, doesn't matter which, how much money we're getting, this is what you'd have to do. Buy the asset, depreciate it right up till the date of the sale. Then when we sell it, we have to determine, was there a gain or a loss, and how much was that gain or loss. So I hope this has been clear to you. There's one more problem that explores this, problem 8-4B, that we'll be doing, you can click on anytime. All right, talk to you soon.